Automation is key to govern data access at scale. That's why Raito offers attribute-based access controls that you can use to dynamically grant access to or mask data. This means that 1. You can dynamically define what data you want to grant access to or which columns you want to mask using data attributes. And these data attributes can come from your cloud data provider, your data catalog, or even as code in dbt, Terraform, and data contracts. And 2, you can dynamically define who this rule applies to using data attributes that come from your identity provider like Active Directory. Let's see what it looks like in the product. To learn how attribute-based access controls work in Raito, we first have to understand the concept of user and data attributes. So Raito can ingest data attributes from the data provider, a data catalog, or you can define them as code in dbt, Terraform, and data contracts. After which we ingest that in Raito and we assign those tags to your data objects like tables, views, and so forth, or to columns. And to see how that looks like, let's look, for instance, for all the tables tagged as customer. So first I'll say in the search that I want to look on tag. I want to look on the category tags and more specifically the customer category. And this gives me all the tables that have been tagged and columns and so forth, schemas even, as customer. So let's go to the customer table, and here we see 2 tags. We see that the table itself has been tagged with the key value pair category customer, and in the table we have a column that has the key value pair classification PII. This tag on the table is used to dynamically grant access, and this tag is used, so the tag on the column is used to dynamically mask that column. The same for your users, right? Let's say I want to look for my users on a tag, and more specifically I want to see all the users that work in sales, and we see that Mary Carissa has the sales tag. So same story here, we ingested 3 key value pairs from Active Directory for Mary Carissa, showing that she works in sales, she has an office in the EU, and she works as a data scientist. So now that we have the user and data attributes, we can see how we use them to dynamically grant access to data or mask data. Let's look at a rule that we used to dynamically grant access to customer data. So here we have a grant, right? You recognize it by the key that dynamically grants access to customer data. And what it basically does is, in the whole Snowflake, so the whole data source, not just maybe a schema, but the whole data source, we give read access to all tables and views that have been tagged as category equals customer, right? Just like the one we just saw. To see what tables and views are covered, we can expand to see all, and we see that 4 tables have that tag. So currently no views, only 4 tables. So basically what Raito does is we look in our data security graph for the tables that have been tagged as a customer, and these are the tables that the policy here, or this rule, will dynamically give read access to. So that is the what. To see who the rule applies to, there we have to look at the second half of our rule, and that says that access is granted for users that have the tag, the key value pair department sales, right? Just like Mary Carissa as we saw earlier. So again, see all to see who is covered, and we see that a bunch of people are covered by this rule. Now, let's have a look at how it works, so how you can create that rule. And for that, I'll just go to the edit page. Here we see that we have defined this rule on tables and views, giving them read access when they're tagged as category equals customer. But what I want to show is maybe let's restrict access to everybody that is in has an office location in Europe, right? So what I'll do is I'll add an and, right? You can do and or you can use or statements in this rule builder, but I'll add office location and I'll put it on EU. And this is going to restrict access for the people working in the sales department, but then only for the ones in the EU. So I'll update this and then I'll expand. And you'll see that now if I click on see all, that the number of users that will get access now is restricted, right? Hope that you also see that it's not that this is dynamic, right? So you can fix either of them. If you want to say that the what should be fixed, you can do that. If you want to fix the who, that's also possible, right? So let's say that instead of dynamically defining the users, you want to make that static, right? You just change the method to a static list, continue, and for instance, if you rather use an AD group, you can limit access using the sales AD group, right? So let's add this one, add, and now instead of dynamically granting access to users, we just use an AD group. Just to show you that Raito is flexible in which part of your rule you make dynamic. Both parts can be dynamic or just one part, right? So this is used to dynamically grant access. You can also use Raito to dynamically mask data, right? On the roadmap, we also have the possibility that you can then dynamically filter data using master data and reference data. But for now, let me show you how you can dynamically mask data. So here we have a rule that masks all columns tagged as PII, right, in Snowflake. So all these columns will return nil to everybody that queries those columns, except for the people in the human resources group, right, the AD group, human resources. So here you see how we've dynamically defined the what, so what the rule applies to, but the who, for that we use an AD group. So you have total flexibility. Again, if you click see all, you'll see the columns it applies to. And same for users. If you do see all, you'll see the 2 users from that AD group. And that is quickly how you can use Raito to dynamically grant access or dynamically mask data. Thank you.